So you'll all be asked to accept the fact that it's being recorded. So you just click on your button. And there's someone else from Edinburgh. Scotland rocks. It certainly does tonight anyway, that's for sure. That's
Another
90% from Scotland.
wow.
So Ayurveda is
Nice.
alive and well and kicking in Scotland. So, and there's Mary or Mark from Bath in the UK. Yeah, I think Mark, I think probably the yoga teacher from what I remember. Maybe not, but anyway, I think
Yes,
so.
his thing comes up.
Yeah. Yorkshire in the UK, very good. From Perth, I presume in Scotland as opposed to Australia. West Cork is represented. From Rathote, that's a bit closer to home. Catherine, hi, Catherine. So we have 73 on. What time are we? 17:32. So we have a few minutes to go. So this call tonight is kind of a mixture between a Q&A for the people who are joining the course that starts next week, because I can actually see from a lot of the names that a lot of you are already signed up for it. And maybe it's a little encouragement to people who are thinking of signing up. And then more importantly, maybe because this course is just practically full, you know, I've actually taken the booking down off the website. You can't book it on the website anymore. So you'll have to book it directly with me if you want to do it. But more importantly, obviously, we're going to run this course again. So maybe people that might want to do it in the future or might want to know about doing it in the future, it'll give them an idea what's going on. So basically what we're going to do this evening is we're going to, each of the doctors is just going to talk very briefly about some of the topics they're going to cover in this course. And then I'll come back on and then we'll kind of have a little Q&A session about it. Now it starts next Tuesday night and it's a 100-hour Ayurveda for self-care course, and it's a completely standalone course. So within itself, you could do this course and you don't have to do any other courses or anything like that. So it's completely self-sufficient standalone course that you could do, a 100-hour course. But it also forms part of our 500-hour Ayurvedic lifestyle coach course as well. Okay, so it's the first section of that, and there's two other sections to that, another 100 hours and then a 300-hour course, and I'm going to talk a little bit about them a bit later on as well, because we've more news on them. But this course is completely standalone. Obviously it's essential to do if you want to get the 500-hour course, but you can do it just on your own. It's Ayurveda for self-care. So if you're going to be an Ayurvedic practitioner, there's not much point in going out there and telling people how to improve their health if you're not doing it yourself. If you're not, you have to walk the walk, as they say, you know, or walk the talk, I think they say. So you have to, you know, you have to live what you're teaching. Otherwise, it's kind of false to a certain extent. So this course will cover all about Ayurveda for self-care, and it'll go very in depth into many of the concepts that many of you probably already know from our original courses, but it's going to go more in depth into these things. And it consists of 12 online lectures starting next Tuesday and running every Tuesday and Thursday for 6 weeks. All of them will be recorded, and the recordings will be made available to you, not for an unlimited time, but probably for about 3 months or so. You'll have access to those recordings. And then there's 2 practical weekends as well, which are the 29th and 30th of October and the 19th and 20th of November. And they're going to take place at Dublin Airport, at the Maldron Hotel at Dublin Airport. But just consider it that some people might be flying in from the UK. We'll have a lot of people from the UK on this course, so it's going to be very simple for you. Just fly in from the UK. The hotel is a 10-minute walk from Terminal 2 or Terminal 1. I've managed to get accommodation for most people at this stage. We've kindly had a lot of people, well, not a lot, but enough people to offer to be a host for people coming in. But we probably do need 1 or 2 more hosts as well. So if there's any Irish people on that are going to the course that would like to host the course participant, in other words, just bring them home with you on the Saturday night and bring them back in with you on the Sunday morning, and then they fly back on the Sunday evening. So it's just one night really that you'll be hosting somebody. So if anybody wants to offer to do that, I think I'm short of 1 host at the moment. Other than that, then everybody who's asked for accommodation, I've managed to get it for them. So, and if you're from the UK and you'd like accommodation, then drop me an email and say, I'd like to take and if we can get one, I can't guarantee it, but if we can get one, we'll get one for you. So the idea would be is that you'd meet that person on the Saturday, and then go home with them, spend the night there, and then come back in the next morning with them. And the reason we did that is because accommodation is quite expensive in Dublin. It's embarrassingly expensive in Dublin. So, Anyway, and we also thought it would make a nice community feel, a nice family feel out of the thing as well. So that's so there's those 2 practical weekends, and as I say, we're going to cover all of that. But I'm aware that Dr. Chitrali told me earlier on that she has to go by 7:30, so or by 8 o'clock, I think it is. So maybe Dr. Chitrali, while we're waiting for the others to come on, maybe you could just cover some of the topics that you're going to be given a few of the lectures. Each of the doctors will give 3 lectures each on 3 different topics. So Chitrali, maybe you could just tell everybody roughly what you're going to cover in your section of the course.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Noel. So good evening, everyone. I'll be covering day 3, day 6, and day 7. So I'll just give a glimpses of what it will be on the day 3. It is like basically know the elements of nature and your relationship with it, like the body energies and the attributes of minds. You'll know more about it, know yourself and even your constitution, and even understand the 20 qualities which Ayurveda talks about, which we have within us and they are in the nature. And you need those 20 qualities to balance and to know the balance and imbalance within us. And this is what will be covered on day 3. Then on day 6, it will be concept of digestive fire, which is called as Agni in Ayurveda. So it is the concept of Agni and what are the types of digestive fires and the classification of Agni according to the strength. So Ayurveda has described those, and what is the importance of Agni, why we have to learn about it, and how the imbalance causes diseases, and to know more about toxins, what are toxins, and that is called as Ama in Ayurveda. So I'm going to cover all those things in day 6. And then how to detox yourself. Few things will be covered by me and then later by Dr. Rajvinder as well. And on day 7, it will be like the strategies to take care of Agni, to know what type of diet each body constitution needs. So it will be like I'll be covering all the aspects what are covered for Ahar Vichara. It is like what are the concepts of diet as per Ayurveda. So the daily routine according to the body constitution, and then the 6 tests, how those 6 tests will affect your body and your constitution, and the effects of that taste on your body and on your mind. And again, the effect of food and the qualities of mind, relationships of season, according to season, how you have to change your diet for your body constitution. And then the concepts of incompatible food in short. So this all will be covered on day 7. Yeah,
okay.
Thank you.
That's great, Dr. Chitrali, because I mean, obviously diet is, as people know, it's a huge part of Ayurveda. And like, it's a huge part. And, discussion, telling people get to know about the different Agnis and the different fires that exist. We know that there's more than one Agni in the human body. We generally just call it Agni and the digestive fire, but it's alive in different places, and different types of Agnis can go out of balance. So we'll cover a lot of those things in the course. So yeah, so that's phenomenal. So that's great. Thanks very much for covering that area.
Yeah.
I think
Thank you, everyone. Maybe I'll leave in some time.
Yeah, that's okay. We know you have to go, so we'll catch you again on your first lecture. Your first lecture is number 3, so that'll be Tuesday week. Yeah. Okay. So great. So I'm sure everybody looks forward to
see you everyone on that day. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Brennan. I think you're on, are you?
I am indeed, Noel, and I'm stunned and I'm recovering from the radiance of Chitrali with the northern lights just catching behind her. It's beautiful. I was in Iceland once, and I arrived in the middle of a cold, dark winter, but I couldn't but go out to see them. They were just, the creator was showing off.
Well, you got to see them actually, did you?
Oh, no, it was incredible.
Well, you're very blessed, Dr. Brennan. I'll tell you, you must be good nature support there. There must be some form of enlightenment there, because a lot of people go and they never get to see them. So it's That's
Well,
great.
Noel, I'm amazed with you. You've been everywhere and anywhere, but yeah.
Well, sure, I'll have to go up there with
Yeah.
you. I probably wouldn't get the luck to see them, you know. I wouldn't be as in tune with nature as you are, you know. So I'll have to bring you along with me, and then we'll get to see them then, you know.
Book the flight.
Yeah, yeah, you can pay for the flights, but anyway,
Thanks.
anyway, Dr. Don. So basically, I just introducing the fact that we're talking about our new course, and that each of the 4 doctors are going to go over very briefly what they're covering. And Dr. Chitrali went first there because we know she has to leave this evening. So maybe you'd like to say a few words while you're on.
I mean, as the course gets closer, I'm getting more excited about it. To be honest, I'm really looking forward to it now because there's so much in it, and it's such a step up from where we've been at in terms of putting together a structure that's organized that takes us into a finer level of all the various aspects of Ayurveda that probably many people here have been hearing about. Of course, for the purpose of motivation. I mean, it's very hard to give up the sugar, I know. And honest to God, when you're addicted to the late night news, how is it possible to turn the light out at 10 o'clock? But after this course, you'll be motivated to make some more changes that will actually get you moving forward in an even better way for more joy and more health. And that's our purpose, is to inform and motivate you. And yes, like Chitrali, I had responsibility for 3 lectures, and I do the 1st and the 10th and the 12th. Now, doesn't that confuse you? But let me start with the 1st. The 1st is really up to me to, I suppose, give an overview and an introduction to the course. And I'd like to do that by giving you a perspective, which is purely Ayurveda, which is a little bit of a contrast to our everyday point of view. And that Ayurvedic perspective takes us deeper to recognize that we're more than we appear. And therefore, we want to integrate all aspects of our body with every aspect of mind, with the source that mind comes from, which is our own innate consciousness. And so I want to, just reintroduce that concept to put everything we're about to do in context. And when dealing with that concept, I'm also going to talk about the different levels of consciousness that we're capable of, the different states of consciousness, how the level we live in the waking state is really not human at all. It's not next or nigh nor near our potential, which is why we're always inspired by the greats in every culture, because they inform us. This is our potential. So what the states of consciousness are, and why therefore we're really into the Ayurveda, because it speeds us forward in a process of growth and development towards our potential. Anyway, it'll fall to me then to just show you the course overall, because the 2nd lecture, you see, my lecture is about health, but so is Rajvinder's. But where I get carried away, and Noel has to every now and again ground me with an anchor, and he does that very successfully. And Rajvinder, on the other hand, she's grounded to start with, and she starts from the ground and heads up. It's a much better way of going about life. But anyway, she's going to deal with the very practical aspects of health, the everyday things, to remind you in an overview of orientating you towards health, because Ayurveda is not treating disease, it's about how you're going to create your health. So from that point of view, then you can view where actually you might not be in perfect health state. So then we need to deal with the doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So lecture 3, 4, and 5 are going to deal with Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So that gives you a more deep insight into how you can go out of balance, and more important, what you do to come back to balance in an overall fashion. And having dealt with the doshas, we then go on, as Noel was talking about Agni, and as Chitrali mentioned, the metabolisms, because those metabolisms transform all our experiences and all our nourishment into, our ongoing, evolving mind-body state. And so how those various digestions, metabolisms operate is lecture 6 and 7. So from dealing with health, we've gone on to do the doshas, and from the doshas, we've progressed into the agnis, digestion and metabolism. And then we come back to the very practical aspect. It's over to Rajvinder again to do with the food. And Rajvinder gives very practical aspects about food, which everybody will learn from and enjoy. And me too. And lecture 9 and 10, we then deal with the reality that when our doshas are balanced, lecture 3, 4, 5, and when our metabolisms are good and strong, lecture 6 and 7, and when we eat the really, really good foods, lecture 8, then we're successfully creating for lecture 9 and 10 healthy body tissues. So this is lecture 9 and 10 to describe that perspective in Ayurveda, very, very practical, pragmatic, and simple perspective Ayurveda brings so that you can take more action for your health. In lecture 11, we'll deal with where you get it a little bit wrong, and then you need a bit of detoxing, clearing toxins. And the other side of lecture 11 is how we rejuvenate, partly through clearing toxins, but also through those things which are rejuvenating. Finally, we come back to lecture 12, which is back down to me to finish off talking again about health. We start with health, we'll end with health. And dealing with health will, I'll deal more with the aspects of mind then, and then yes, mind and ojas, and ending with health. So I could tell you a little bit more about the other lectures. I could, but we can come back to that if questions arise. What I want to mention, though, is what excites me most, to be honest, about this. And the thing that I'm going to learn most from are the practical days, because these practical days will have us all together in a sort of a community of inquiry. And we'll be drawing out nectar from those 3 ladies, because the depth of wealth of the knowledge from being living exponents of the actual tradition. And I know I'm going to learn a lot. I'm going to go to every one of these days, even the ones I'm not doing, because 2 of us will take responsibility for each day. So each of us will be responsible for 2 days, but more of us might be present because we want to enjoy your company. But I'll start with the pulse, because the pulse is a very interesting instrument, taking your own pulse in terms of your own understanding of your own nature, but more than that, as a very an instrument itself for you balancing your physiology through the use of your attention. So the pulse, and we will go through the day, and the first practical day, we will go through the day, so that you can compare, are you, from the time of getting up to every aspect of preparing for the day, through your breakfast, to your lunch, to your evening meal, how are you measuring up? Are there any things there that you might like to pick up on and improve? And, gives you great opportunity to draw out of Nahid, who will be doing this with me, such a great practical strategies. And some people, they wonder about oil massage, and maybe for them it's a different type of massage called Garshan. So it'll be interesting. Then the second day will be Nahid, and I think it's Rajvinder, and they're a great combination again for giving us more insight into self-healing. I think this day will be fascinating. Home remedies and foods as well, and herbs for cooking. And the third day then will be Dr. Chitrali and Rajvinder. This is the end of November now, the end of our course really. And they will be going in depth into the whole connection between Ayurveda and yoga and all the yogic aspects, because really yoga is an aspect of Ayurveda. And someone who's interested in yoga actually would see Ayurveda as a logical extension of yoga, but us who are interested in Ayurveda see yoga as a more sublime approach to settling our minds. But our minds can't be settled if our body is way up, hyper. So they combine so beautifully, and to get the depth of insights from the yoga point of view to complement our Ayurveda will be that day and the final day. I know if you're not interested in beauty and your appearance and your hair and your nails and your skin and you're just a little bit disheveled and delighted to be, then the last day might not appeal to you. But if you are interested in health in forms of your appearance, I could do with this. I am looking forward to hearing Chitrali on this one. And I'll be doing pulse, and I'll also be doing a sublime treatment that is really the finest essence of Ayurveda. It is the most subtle approach to integration of balance. What is it? It's called Marma. Marma. Tell you no more until today. Looking forward to enjoying these days with you, because I'm going to learn a lot. And I think you'll enjoy the whole being together and having just inspiration together. Okay, Noel, I overdid it, did I?
I'm not sure there's too much for Rajvinder to talk about. You came in late, you see. I was really just saying for you to cover the 3 lectures you were doing, but don't worry, you covered them all anyway, so no worries about it. Anyway, I think you gave a great overview of the whole thing anyway, and I think it should inspire everybody. I see Nicole and Maxwell just saying, I'm so excited, thank you. So you've had the right effect anyway, But we'll go to Rajvinder anyway. Rajvinder, you can unmute yourself there.
Yes.
So Dr. Brennan gave a kind of a small overview of what you're going to be doing, but if you want to just go a little bit more in depth into the aspects of the course that you're going to cover.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Dawn. You covered it really well. Well, in this 12 lesson, you basically are going to dip your toes into the whole Ayurveda, the whole principles of Ayurveda. So we are trying to keep it to like self-care, because that's the course is about. But you will know enough to care for yourself and help your friends and family members for sure. So you are understanding from Dr. Brennan who we are. We beyond this physical body, the consciousness bit and all, as he said. And then I come in the lecture too. So I'm bringing you to the Swasthavrita, the principle of health. So that will be going into kind of detail of, as he said, the practical aspect of daily routine and seasonal routine, and kind of what else we can do to keep ourselves healthy. And then Dr. Nahi, Dr. Chitrali, they are going into the basic energies, doshas and dhatus and digestion, all that bit. And then I come back into lesson 8 after lesson 2. And then lesson 8 is all about the diet, what different food have an effect in terms of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, how they affect us, so that you can understand, like Dr. Chitrali said, you're going to hear about 6 tastes and gunas. So now this will be a little bit more practical part of it, like how these tastes and gunas, the qualities of the food or different things, affect us on the body level. So because so that will be in this lecture. And then the lecture 11, which is more about the panchakarma, the purification, rejuvenation, rasayana, the behavior therapy, so all that. So I think it's very practical aspect I'm dealing with. So that's what you will be learning. And as he said, on the practical days, what I'm doing with in combination with either in the October, that's about the diet, about the how to your kitchen pharmacy, really. So how to spices to be used for small little ailments. And then we will be covering a little bit first aid, how you can use the herbs, what herbs you should have in the house, and how can you use them, what are their benefits for when it comes to common cold and flu and stuff like that. And so that is all about diet, whatever we can cover in that bit, what will be more useful for you to use in your kitchen. And then in November, the practical day that I'm doing with one of the other Vaija, that will be about yoga, how the yoga and Ayurveda are sister science to each other, how they relate. They can go, one is not complete without the other in that sense. And then we will look into asanas, we will do asana practice, we will have breathing practices. One of the theory courses, you will be given a mantra to recite. So on the practical day, I'll be asking you to sing the mantra. And then we will be looking into what kind of breathing, how the asanas and breathing affect the Vata Pitta Kapha. So that's like really bringing your body type in union with asana, what kind of asana will be good and what you should be careful when you're practicing. And then if we got a little chance, we either do a bit of a Yoga Sutra or maybe Bhagavad Gita, something. We will do a little bit of reading of the philosophical part of it. And then, yeah, so for the recreational bit, I know, I think it's 85 or 90 people so far. Not sure if we can go for a little walk, but we'll see what we can do. Might have some fun or some activities that's kind of for that day. So that's like my part of it. So it will be fun. It will be a very good course. I have a feeling talking to the other doctors, everybody's putting a lot of work in it and everybody's very excited. So I'd say it will be great fun together, and see lots of people are already from Scotland, and so things like it is a nice community we are bringing together. That's the purpose of the course, is to educate you more for self-care, because Ayurveda is a prevention model. So we should be responsible for our own health, and that we can do when we know who we are, and we are listening you're listening from our online courses, kind of small bits. So I think in this course everything is coming together. So it will be more profound, it will be going into a little bit more depth, and that it will help you to decide, would you like to go further to the next courses. So I think it's a very nice basic foundation that you'll be doing in the next 12 lessons.
It's very good, Rajvinder. You made some very nice points there. Your last point there about, people deciding then if they'd like to take this further is very good, because they'll get an idea, after doing the course, whether it appeals to them, how much it appeals to them, and if they'd like to, the next course is kind of for self-knowledge as well, but then obviously the 300-hour course is a bigger commitment, and that's really, it's not only for people who want to become consultants, but generally that's what we would be focusing on, people who are going to start using this knowledge to spread it out to other people. And then the other thing you talked about is fun, and that's one of the things we want to get across, is that we don't believe in stress, and we don't believe in learning through stress, and we don't believe in people getting stressed out trying to learn things. It's never the right way to learn things. Stress is not the right way to learn things. Repetition, easy repetition of the knowledge is the right way to learn things. And gentle, easy repetition without giving out to yourself because you can't remember something or some word hasn't gone in. The more you stress to put stuff in, the more you stress the system, and you're just doing the completely opposite of what Ayurveda is supposed to be doing. So this is not going to be a stressful form of learning. It's not like, maybe a normal course where you're under a lot of pressure and stuff like that. We just think that's the opposite of what we're trying to do here. So you'll have access to the videos. The knowledge will be repeated again and again and again, and you just allow it to sink in very gently and just go, and that's the fun way of learning. Dr. Brennan, you look like you're about to say something.
Yes, indeed, you're triggering me. I think what he's saying is beautiful, and there is within the Vedic tradition the concept that knowledge is purifying. So knowledge itself has an influence, a profound effect on us. Particularly pure knowledge is absolutely purifying. In other words, knowledge of ourselves, of our own nature, of what suits and what doesn't. And this relates back, as Noah was saying, to repetition, because every time you have an experience, you trigger a very complex, sophisticated combination of neurons and in the brain and various centers connecting to give you that experience. Okay, but every time you do this, you fortify or strengthen the actual root and course of the impulses that are connecting those parts of your brain. And the saying within neurophysiology, within the science of the brain now, is that neurons that fire together wire together. And so, in other words, that actually the repetition is what causes the brain to lay down the new connections, which are integrating these aspects of the nervous system's function. And so the actual repetition that you'll experience is having a profound effect of restructuring your brain to give you a perspective and a paradigm and a way of experiencing life, which is more you. And therefore, being more you, it's more simple, it's less complex, and more enjoyable. And notice the joy.
Okay, exactly. So as we say, it's not about stress. It's about learning in a fun, easy way through repetition and developing that knowledge. And that's the way to, as Dr. Brennan says, the neurons fire together. So that's good for the brain, whereas stress can have a negative effect on the brain. But anyway, we'll move on to Dr. Naheed. Dr. Naheed, are you with us? You are?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, very good, very good. So would you like to give us a little overview of the, I know they've already been mentioned, but maybe if you just want to go back over the things that you're going to be talking about.
Yeah. So Dr. Brennan and Dr. Rajvinder has already given an idea that what we are going to cover in detail. But to my part, I will be covering lecture 4, lecture 5, and lecture 9. So lecture 4 will be all about the doshas. It's about the balance and imbalance of the doshas. So there I'll be covering more about like individually about vata and then a pitta and kapha. So in that way you'll be enabled, like you'll be get to know that how a balanced vata and a pitta and a kapha feature look like in your own body. And then after that I'll be discussing about the imbalances. So say suppose if you're feeling too cold, so you must be knowing like why it is happening. Is it because my pitta has gone down, or my vata has increased, or my kapha has increased? Just an example to give you, you know, how the balance and the imbalance are going to differentiate each other. And then of course we are going to cover about the restoration of the doshas. So in many aspects, how can you cover and how can you restore your doshas, each of them, like vata, pitta, and kapha, through diet, through lifestyle, through herbs, through, you know, just indulging in few activities like abhyanga and swimming, like these things. And then in the lecture 5, I'll be covering about foods. So from the lecture 5, we are just going to talk about food up to lecture 7. So in this, the first thing is that a correlation between the 5 elements, which is like fire, water, air, and the taste. So how the tastes are important, because taste is nothing but the pharmacological actions of any food stuff or any herbs which we are taking. So we'll deep dive into the 6 tastes with examples, so that if you feel like you need to balance your vata and you need to indulge in more sweet foods, so what are the healthy options you have from your kitchen, from just being at home. And then the most important thing, which is the digestion. So I'll be covering an idea of like how digestion look like in our modern day, like the major things like absorption. Like we talk a lot about the metabolism and absorption, but what do we mean about when we say absorption and metabolism? So I'll be just giving you a clear picture of what is absorption and metabolism and all together a digestion. And of course, after that, I'm going to cover how digestion looks like as per a vata, pitta, and kapha perspective and agni perspective. And then in the lecture 9, I'll be covering about doshas. So everything about doshas. So it will be a deep dive about doshas. So what are the different types of doshas, how they form in our body, and what happens when we are making the best of the tissues in our body, how they represent, in which form they represent in the body. And here you'll get to know that it's not only about the vata, pitta, and the kapha, but there are doshas are also responsible for so many diseases. So there could be imbalance in your doshas, and that's why you are sick. So you'll get to know more about it. And you'll also get to know like the symptoms of out of balance things and everything. And the shrotas, because shrotas are a very important part of our body. And you'll get to know more about it during the lessons. And during the practical sessions, Dr. Brennan and Dr. Rajvinder has told enough about that. And I'll be joining Dr. Brennan on this day 1. and I'll be joining Dr. Rajvinder on the day 2. And they both have told like, what are we going to cover? It will be fun. I am really looking forward to it. And it will be great to meet people, a lot of people all together. So yeah, so like excited to see you all.
Okay, Dr. Naheed, thanks very much.
What I love, Noel, when working with Naheed is that she's an incredible depth of connection to all the old texts, because you know, they're the real Bible, if you like. They're the essence of the knowledge of Ayurveda has passed on in these ancient texts, and Naheed can just bring out the actual chapter and verse, which is very interesting because each verse is so full of meaning, you know, so you can draw out so much from it. So I love that about Naheed's presentations always. And
yeah, and we'll go into that, the source of Ayurveda as well, and those different verses as well. We can cover some of that, and we can, you know, also lead people to some of the more essential books like Charak Samhita and things like that. If people want to, you know, go for them as well, we can direct people in that particular direction as well, you know.
Can I just pick up another point you made, Noel, there, which when I'm working with the ladies in relation to these practical sessions, you know, I'm like, initially we came and said, well, what are we going to talk about? And now it's to the thing, no, we have to postpone that to the digestion. We have to postpone that to the next course. There's just so much coming out. But what's coming out? I mean, oh Lord, I'm loving it. It's, you know, I think the next course, when it gets to food and that, who's not interested in food, Noel? You know, can you point out to anybody? And so who would not be interested in the recipes that just trip out of their mind? And then they start challenging each other and adding a little nutmeg and a little, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, okay, well, there is a huge amount of knowledge, and we knew that this was a big undertaking when we decided to do this course, and it's kind of a learning curve for us as well, because obviously this is the first course that we've run, and we do intend running it again, and we'll have all the material done to run it the next time. But as you say, we're learning as we go along, and we're structuring the whole thing. But I mean, haven't been involved in the individual structuring of it, but I've been looking at what's been coming out, and it's just been fantastic, and I think it's going to be a great course, you know. And this is really the next step for the Ayurveda Center, is in getting this knowledge out here, particularly if people go on to do the 500-hour Ayurvedic lifestyle coach, because, you know, we could have, within a year, we could have 100 people within the Ireland and Great Britain that are trained up to diagnose people and give daily advices and stuff like that. And then that's just the start, you know. Maybe within a few years we might have a few thousand people that are doing that, and then that's presenting options to people. It's to the general public, it's presenting options to them, because, you know, a lot of people are maybe only aware that there's only one form of healthcare, but there isn't only one form of healthcare. There's, you know, there's other ways of doing things, and Ayurvedic knowledge has been around for thousands and thousands of years and has definitely stood the test of time. And, you know, I think everybody on this call maybe has some appreciation of it and the depth of power of it, but I think you're going to get an awful lot more as we go through this course, and you'll just see how sublime it is, and how, just what a fantastic system of healthcare, and one that really needs to get established deeply in society if we want to get out of this mode of disease care. Basically, our healthcare system nowadays is based around disease. Everything is the cure of a disease, but we have got to get away from that model, and we've got to get to a model of health. And Ayurveda is exactly what's going to do that, because it's, you know, you can call it what you like. You don't even have to call it Ayurveda. You can call it living in tune with nature, but that's what has to be established in society. And the depth of the knowledge, as far as I'm concerned, is contained in Ayurveda. And this is a big step for the Ayurveda Center. We've done, I'm not boasting here, but we've done incredible work over the last few years in, you know, with our webinars and, you know, getting stuff out there. And like I put a video up on Facebook there a while back. I mean, we had about 20,000 hits on it, you know, which is like a lot more than we used to get. So definitely there's a huge interest out there in Ayurveda. And so whether you're doing this for self-knowledge, which everybody should be doing, but also maybe whether you're thinking of going forward and doing the rest of the course as well, this is just, well, it's the only place to start, but it's a great place to start, you know. And the practical weekends, like a lot of people have emailed me and said, oh, I can't make this one, or we're going to do them on Zoom. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work out, especially if people are moving around, but we'll have a tripod, we'll have the camera on it, we'll do it as best that we can. And if you can't make that weekend, we really encourage everybody to come along if they can, but I know that there's other things going on in people's lives. So if you can't make that weekend or those weekends, you can still do this course, okay? When we get on to the 300-hour course with the practical things, it's not going to be so easy to skip those. They'll be, because that's going on to a different thing. At that stage, you're talking about dealing with other people, and we need to be very confident that you're competent enough, that we've trained you to be competent enough to deal with other things. And that means you know, we have to be seeing you and meeting you and going through those things. So for that course, it's going to be, you know, it's a bigger commitment. But for this course, for Ayurveda for self-knowledge, then it's fine. If you can't make one of the weekends, that's okay. We'd encourage you to try and make them if you can. For the people from the UK, I've said this before, but what you can do is fly in on the Saturday morning, get a Ryanair flight or something, from a cheap flight from wherever you are, fly in on the Saturday morning, walk down to the hotel. We don't start on the Saturday until 10:30. So we give people a bit of time to get in, and the hotel is literally a 10-minute walk from the terminal. And then you can stay Saturday night. We have got hosting for quite a good few people already. Some people have just booked hotels, so you can go on to booking.com and just try find a place, or Airbnb is another option, and just try find a place near the hotel, and then book your flight to go back on the Sunday evening. So we'll be finished on the Sunday evening at about 5:30. So if you book a flight from, well, you have to be there 2 hours beforehand. So 7:30, 8 o'clock to get back home, which means you're only staying away one night. Now, someone put in the chat, oh, if I can't get hosting, but you have to ask for hosting before you can get it. I can't get you a place unless I know you're looking for one. So if anybody from the UK is still looking for hosting, I can't guarantee I can get it for you at this stage, but drop me an email, okay? And if there's anybody from Ireland doing the course that's happy to host somebody, now we're not expecting, it's, you know, people aren't going to be expecting like hotel service or anything like that. If you have a sofa bed in the room or something like that, like we'll just tell people that that's what people can expect if they're being hosted, just a sofa bed or something like that. You'll be leaving the hotel at 5:30 on the Saturday, and you'll be back for 9:30 on the Sunday. So, you know, you just go home, you just need to have something to eat and sleep and then come back in. So if anyone is happy to host a participant from abroad, or not even from abroad, if there's one lady coming up from County Kerry, like, and like the bus can't get her up on time, and so that's a big, you know, to come up and down to Kerry on the same day for 2 days in a row is quite a lot to ask. So you know, if anybody's looking for hosting, let me know. And if anybody that's within driving distance who is either commuting to or driving to the Maldron Hotel for the practical weekends, and then can take the person back with them, if they'd like to give someone a sofa bed or a spare room or something like that, then just drop me an email, noel@ayurveda.ie, and yeah, and then I can try hook people together. Most of the people that look for hosting have already gotten it. So so what we'll do now is we will just throw it open to some questions, whether you have signed up for the course or not. Just to say, we've 85 people booked in so far. Everybody that's booked with €100 deposit. At this stage, most people have paid the additional 200. If you haven't paid the additional 200, if you could do so over the weekend, or certainly before Tuesday. The €100 deposit is now obviously gone because we're right near the course, so it's just the €300. It's not on the website anymore to book, because that would lead to a situation where maybe it gets overbooked. So if you're interested in doing it, you drop me an email to noel@ayurveda.ie, and I'll drop you back all the details and the payment link. So noel@ayurveda.ie. I think everybody has that at this stage. But if anybody wants to, there's somebody from Spain. If anybody wants to ask any questions, Don, go ahead.
Yeah, just to take up on one point that you were making there is quite interesting, I thought. You know, there's a uniqueness about what is on offer with Ayurveda, in that in Ireland, you know, the health services have been pretty diabolical for a long time, and often political wrangling prevents progress. So they came together, and politicians sorted out a plan going forward for the health service called Selfcare. This is over the last couple of years, and it's a plan that will be put out over the next couple of years. And yeah, it's amazing. All right, it's good. It's taking medical care out of the extremes of the hospitals as much as possible, back into the community and into people's homes. And it all sounds very good in terms of making care more in your own home, so to help you to be healthy in your home. The unfortunate thing, and the one issue that they have failed in, and which continues a process of failure where there's not enough funds for all the needs, is they do not take it to the logical next step of empowering people to take care and responsibility of themselves. And until the health services does that, you end up with this madness where you're wasting so much money on people who are incredibly ill. Now, if people took responsibility for their health, you would find that the GPs would have an awful lot more time and space to take care of sicker people, which would take the burden off hospitals, which would actually then be appropriately funded. So the whole health services would work if they took that final step, which they can't do because they haven't got the paradigm that, you know, people can heal. And this is what Ayurveda has to offer, which will be transformative when, as Noel points out, it is more widely available. Great. So
there's just a few questions there. Linda is asking, Noel, how do we pay the balance if we paid the deposit? Linda, I sent out links to pay the balance. I sent out several, so I'll just have to double check that you're on the email list. And if you could just check that you're getting my emails. So maybe they went to your spam folder or something like that. If you booked, I can't see why you're not on the email list, but mistakes can always happen. But I'll double check that, Linda, and I'll send you out that link. But I have sent it out several times already, you know, so yeah, so you should have it there somewhere. Can I ask about the 50 hours home study element? Will there be study material provided? The study material will be the videos that you'll need to go back over, and also the reading material that we've recommended, the books that we've recommended you do. And we may have some other homework for people to do during the course as well, things that we'll ask people to do as well, you know. So, but certainly I recommended 3 books that were there and that we're advising people to read. Now, we only have one of them. Someone asked about the books on our website. We only have one of them on our website, which is Dr. Brennan's book. But the other books you can get on Amazon. And I think you can get Dr. Brennan's book on Amazon as well. Or I'm not just saying Amazon, your own local bookstore or different bookstores online, you can get them, you know. So that's what the home study will consist of, is, you know, going back over the lectures, going back over the points. We will give bullet points in all the lectures as well, and also studying the books. And then some of the teachers may give you things as we're going through, you know. When I looked at flights from Manchester, there weren't any to travel on Saturday morning and return on Sunday evening. From what I could see, you have to travel on the Friday and Monday. Abigail, yeah, Abigail, you'll have to, I don't know, skyscanner.ie. It would seem strange that there's no flight from Manchester, but maybe you'll have to go to another city. I don't know.
Try Liverpool.
Liverpool, yeah. Yeah, maybe you have to go to Liverpool to do that. If you come on the Monday and go back on if you come on the Friday and travel on the Monday, you're looking at 3 nights accommodation. We're not even asking people to host for 3 nights. That would not be fair on people. We're asking them to host for 1 night. So if that's what has to happen, you'll just have to organize your own accommodation. So booking.com or Airbnb are good ones. But I would say, how far is Liverpool from Manchester, Don? You lived over there?
It's about 40 miles, I'd imagine, 30 to 40 miles.
Yeah, so there are probably buses from Manchester to Liverpool Airport, are they?
Oh, there are trains, yeah.
Okay, so that's an option, Abigail. Just try Liverpool. I'd just be very surprised if there wasn't a flight from somewhere coming into Dublin there. There's so many flights between the UK and Ireland. That are books available on your website, and do you have to have them before Tuesday? Their books are advisory. We're not telling anybody they have to have them. They're just advisory. We would like you to get them and read them. They're not available on our website. The only one that's available is Dr. Brennan's. It's not essential you have them before Tuesday. We're just advising people to read them over the course of the course. What about lunch when we have in-person lessons? Do we need to take with us our own lunch? Very good question. I was on to, there's a couple of options. We're in the Maldron Hotel, and then across the road from it is another hotel, just about a 2-minute walk. We had lunch in the other hotel the last time we were up there. They had a kind of a buffet. I think it cost about €20. It was okay. It was quite nice. Were you there, Don? You were with us, were you?
Yes, I was indeed.
Yeah. What's the name of that hotel? The other hotel, the Fitzsimon or the can't remember what the name of it is, but anyway, it's only a 2-minute walk from this hotel. So there will be a like, we're not providing lunch obviously on the day, so there is a restaurant in the hotel, and I've asked them to put on some vegetarian options. Not that you have to be vegetarian, that's up to yourselves, but I've asked them to put on some vegetarian options. There's a hotel across the way that you can go to, and then the airport itself is a 5-minute walk up the road. There's a McDonald's right beside us as well, but I'm not too sure too many people will be going there. Or you can bring your own lunch. Exactly, you can bring your own lunch. You can also, like, we will have tea breaks on those days. So we'll have a little break where you can go and stretch your legs and go out for a walk and stuff like that. There is a coffee shop there, so you can get yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea if you want, or you can bring a flask and have your own herbal teas. I'm trying to see if we can bring our own herbal teas and our own water boiler, our own burqa there as well, but they haven't confirmed that we can do that. So I'm not too sure whether we'll be allowed to do that or not. But if we can, we will, and then we'll have Vata Pitta Kapha teas available for people. But I can't guarantee that at the moment. So really be self-sufficient is what I'm saying. If you have a flask or a thermos, we can bring along some tea bags and Vata Pitta Kapha. If you have a thermos, you can make your own tea. But other than that, then, and if you're driving, obviously, there's probably lots of restaurants in the vicinity of a drive, but, you know, we'll probably be taking about an hour for lunch. So it may be more feasible just to take it in the hotel or in the hotel across the way. I'm up at the hotel just checking it out again next week. So I'll ask them a little bit more about that, you know. Linda, you just send me an email as well, noel@ayurveda.ie, and I'll just check whether I have you on that list. Will there be notes available as well as the videos? There'll be bullet points available on the lectures. There'll be bullet points available on the lectures, but the lectures are the notes, and you have access to the lectures to go back over them again, you know. Abigail, yes, I have had to do Friday to Monday from Leeds Bradford Airport. Okay, Anita. So if you have any tips for Abigail on accommodation or something like that, maybe you can exchange information there or something like that. But so obviously from Leeds, you can only go out on the Friday and come back on the Monday. By the way, have you all had good experiences booking with Skyscanner? I personally have had, but there's lots of websites out there. Just go to ryanair.com or cheapflights.co.uk. There's lots of those different airlines out there. Can you please give the names of the books we need, please? Okay, I've sent that out in the email already, but they're Dr. Brennan's Live Better. They're Nancy Lonsdorf's A Woman's Best Medicine. And then there's, is it Contemporary Ayurveda by Sharma and Clark? Yeah. Yeah, Contemporary Ayurveda by Sharma and Clark. But it's in the newsletter. I sometimes feel people don't get my emails. They just ignore them. But anyway, the thing is, put me in your contacts, noel@ayurveda.ie. That's the best way for my emails to end up in your inbox. noel@ayurveda.ie. Add me to your contacts, okay? And then if you haven't been getting my emails, but you must be because you're on this call and the link was sent out, you can just check your spam folder, you know. Okay, that's okay. I haven't booked the course, but would like to know what are the 3 books you recommended, please. So I've just said that. How long will we have access to the lectures for? I'm thinking 3 months. It's not decided yet, but I'm thinking 3 to 6 months you'll have access to the lectures for. But yeah, we can see. Book Depository is a good place to get the books. Woman's Best Medicines, Dr. Nancy Lonsdorf. If you want to type in the other ones, Rajvinder, as well, that might help. Contemporary Book of Ayurveda, a very different book from Sharma. Contemporary Ayurveda, Harry Sharma and Christopher Clark. That's it there.
Same book, Abigail. Same book. They did change the title to Ayurvedic Healing. So it's the same book. Sharma and Clark.
Okay. It's quite a famous book, actually. So, I mean, yeah. And Live Better is Dr. Brennan's book. Is the name of Dr. Brennan's book. So that appears to be it. We're really looking forward to this. It's going to be great being back doing I mean, obviously, probably most people here did our free 7-lesson online course, which reminds me, if you haven't done that, then that's a great thing to do. You could do it over the weekend, you know. You can register on our website, but if you'd like immediate access to all the lectures, drop me an email and I'll send you the playlist so you have immediate access to all 7 lectures. But I think most people have probably done that, maybe done it 3 or 4 times, the one we've been doing for the last 2 years, you know. So Yeah, we have an exciting event coming up on the 25th of October as well. I'll send out an email about that, but we're going to be in the Indian Embassy. We're going to be doing a live broadcast from the Indian Embassy to celebrate Ayurveda Day. And we'll send out a few more details about that later on. Any other news that's coming up? Our detox, autumn detox is coming to a close. Dr. Rajvinder did a brilliant job on that. Have you plans to run this course again? Absolutely, we have, Fanula. There's a huge amount of work in putting this course together. And the idea is that if possible, we'd run it every year. And once we have all the material together, running the second course is going to be even easier than running the first course, because we'll already have the materials, and then we just need we need 1 or 2 doctors just to oversee the group, and obviously we need the same people for the practical days. But yes, so we will be running it again. If the demand is there, and hopefully the demand will be there, I mean, I'd like to be running it at least once a year, and you know, at least once a year to run the whole 500-hour thing. And do it in the different sections. So yes, Fanula, we will be running it again. Will the bullet points be provided in a PDF? Yeah, probably. We can do them in PDF or Word or whatever. I'm not too sure what way the doctors are doing them, but if it's in Word, you can just easily convert it to PDF. I can convert them to PDF for people who don't have Word. So, okay, now there's a very good question from Siobhan. Thanks, Siobhan. I'm glad you brought that up because it went out of my mind. Is it still planned to start the next stage of the course in mid-January? No, it's not. We've realized the amount of work in putting this together, and we want to give the doctors a break after this. So we're not going to be starting it at the beginning of January. It'll more likely be towards the end of February, but we will keep people informed. I did say that when we gave out the dates at the time, that these were just provisional dates. Actually, the second and third course are still just provisional. They're, I think, more than likely to go ahead, but they definitely won't go ahead in the original dates that I gave out. They definitely won't go ahead in those dates because we won't have time to have prepared all the material by then. There's a substantial amount of work in putting all this together, you know. Thank you all so much. Excited to get started. Very excited now. Thank you. If it's Word, we can add our own notes. Okay, we can send it out in Word. I don't think that's a problem. Thanks for confirming. That's no problem, Siobhan. Thank you for reminding me, because I'm sure there's some people out there who are thinking of those dates and, you know, maybe making plans around those dates. So don't make plans around those dates. It's definitely not going to happen on those dates, but it will happen, and we will give you the dates. Good to hear. Plan to run it again. I can't manage to make it in person, live gatherings this time, so I hope to join next time. Yeah. Okay, Ailish, thank you. Redates helps planning indeed. Okay, everybody, that's it. What I'll do is I'll put a copy of this video up on our YouTube channel so you can rewatch it or send it to your friends, and, you know, spread the word about Ayurveda. We need people spreading the word out there. We can't do it all ourselves, you know. So, and I know people are spreading the word because there's people, you know, tuning into our webinars all the time, and we have 2 webinars for free at the moment. The dementia webinar and the arthritis webinar are available for people to view free at the moment. So I ran a lot of Facebook advertising on the arthritis webinar, and we had an awful lot of hits and an awful lot of people downloading it. But tell your friends. They just go to ayurveda.ie, and under services, they can get the 7-lesson Ayurveda course for free. They can get the arthritis webinar for free, and they can get the dementia webinar for free. And everybody who's getting on in age, well, actually, you should be doing it when you're younger, but everybody that's getting on in life should be learning how to look after the brain. And yeah, but spread the word for us. Get the stuff out there, and you know, we will just build up a bigger and bigger and bigger community. And hopefully, you know, within a year we'll have, you know, 70 or 80 practitioners out there, all individually spreading the word in their own communities, and hopefully making a living out of the thing and helping it to grow and grow and grow. I've spread the word. I've suggested several people will have a consultation with one of the doctors. Thanks, Abigail. Thank you for all your help. No, really excited. Appreciate you all. We'll spread the word. Sounds fantastic. Nicola, thank you. And Mark says huge thanks to all. Thank you, Mark. Okay, everybody, what time are we? We're 8:30. So unless any of the doctors have anything they'd like to say, if anyone has any concluding remarks.
Looking forward to being with you all.
Okay, that's great. Rajvinder, have you left us?
No, I'm still here. I'm looking forward to see you all. Yeah, looking forward to the journey of 12 weeks. Somebody said, yeah, friends and community. Exactly. That's what the dream is, because when you do the consultation, they say, oh, it would be wonderful if you have people to talk to each other or just a sense of community. So that's the reason, hopefully.
Yeah, well, that's actually another good thing. That's the next thing I want to start building on. So what I'm doing is forming an organization called Friends of Ayurveda. And what it is it's I'm going to be inviting people who are interested in helping promote Ayurveda to a special newsletter, because I don't want to be bombarding people with lots of newsletters when they don't want them, you know. So we're going to have a Friends of Ayurveda. And what it means by that is that if you join in this group, you're going to help us spread the word about Ayurveda. And that's very simply done through your social media platforms, through, I don't know, we might get car bumper stickers, I love Ayurveda. I don't know what way we can come up with different ideas, but just to get it out there. And we'll have a WhatsApp group as well, a Friends of Ayurveda WhatsApp group, you know.
I thought you were putting Naheed and Rajvinder and Chitrali on the side of your van.
Side of the van, yeah. I ran into copyright issues there, Dr. Brennan. Yeah.
I want to clear up something, because G.I. Perro has very kindly wished me well, and hope I'm feeling better. Thank you. I mean, I wasn't feeling very good when I had COVID in June, and I had one night where every muscle burnt like hell, and then I had no energy for 10 days, and that was a real education to me, because I've never had no energy. I always had too much, and so. Yeah, but then bounced back and have been wonderful ever since. So thank you for your good thoughts. And just in case anybody's worried that I'm on my way out, you'll have to put up with me for a while more.
Longer, yeah. So Abigail says, could we have a Facebook community page? Well, Abigail, that's one of the things when we get this group together of Friends of Ayurveda. So it's people who are going to be willing to do things, you know, to help promote Ayurveda. And maybe we'll get a coordinator or a facilitator for a Facebook page, because I know I don't have time to do it. And you need someone looking after those pages, because otherwise you get all sorts of stuff being posted on them. So what we'll do is that'll be one of the things. I'll send out that newsletter, and people who are in, even if we got 20 or 30 or 40 people that are keen to help spread the word about Ayurveda, and you know, we can have different tasks and different things that we can do, you know. So thanks so much, Noel, Dr. Brennan, Dr. Rajvinder, Dr. Naheed, Dr. Chitrali, for your wonderful work in developing this course. We're very lucky to have an opportunity to do this in Ireland. Yeah, that's true, Siobhan. Thank you very much. See you lovely people on Tuesday. Sounds like a fantastic week community. Glad you feel better, Dr. Brennan. You're a ray of light. Well,
no, it's the bald head and the reflective image. That's all.
No, we'll go with the ray of light.
We didn't ask Naheed, would she want to say a final word to everybody?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward for the course to start, for the 12 weeks journey and the practical sessions and everything.
Okay, that's great, Naheed. Well, we're looking forward to your input into it as well. Okay, everybody, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. If you want to join the course,
thank you. Bye.
all at ayurveda.ie. So Jai Guru Dev, everybody, and we will talk. Well, we'll see you on Tuesday. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye.